Board of Commissioners will now come to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bobby, if you'd call the roll.
Commissioner Joe LaRue.
Here.
Chair Butch Schleier.
Here.
Commissioner Neil Younger.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, order of business. I think there's no changes to the agenda, and we will have an executive session at the end of the meeting. Prior minutes, Commissioners, did you get a chance to review prior minutes?
Yes.
Okay, minutes stand as submitted. Is there a motion for the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda, items A through G.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Okay, issues from persons not on the order of business. Donna?
Do I just go ahead? Gemini Junior's 4-Hers request that you again allow the youth in the community to make the Christmas ornaments for the 2 trees just north of the library.
We have really enjoyed this project over the years in adding Christmas to the county trees on Main Street.
We get other youth organizations involved as 4-Hers, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, church groups, and just any youth in the community that wishes to make an ornament for the holiday season.
We always get decorations up for the Frost Parade.
Thank you for your past support, and we appreciate that you will continue to allow Christmas decorations on the trees. In the past, a Boy Scout troop has put ornaments on the tree and take them off the trees after the holiday season. So we ask that we may continue in decorating the county trees during the Christmas season.
Commissioners, in the past, we've always had the trees decorated. I think the more decorations we have, the more it enhances the festivities around the holidays. So I'm in favor of allowing it again. Commissioner Neal?
I am also too. Thank you, young ladies and gentlemen, for coming up and speaking and on the 4-H.
Commissioner Joe?
Oh, sure, I support it too. I appreciate you guys having the willingness to do that, to help beautify the community during the holiday season.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have the introduction of new employees.
Good morning, Jennifer Taylor with Human Resources. And you guys want to come up when I call your name? I have Tura Clements, and she's with the appraiser department. And she started, all of these employees have started within the last month. And then I have Kylie Benier, and she's with the Treasury as a motor vehicle tax collection clerk. And I have Roy French as a truck driver with Public Works. And then we do have a promotion, and so I will let Danita introduce her promoted employee.
Danita Schrader, Ellis County MS. I wanted to introduce Mike Fields' promotion is our new lieutenant on C shift with Captain Ellie Durr. Mike has been a paramedic for 25 years and also a nurse for 14 years. He's served on various committees for us here at Ellis County EMS, precepted many students. He told me he's excited to take this new step in his career, and he's looking forward to helping assist and guide Ellie on C shift and to mentor new and old employees alike. So,
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yep, congratulations to you and welcome to all that are new.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, our next agenda item is the Adams Brown remodeling. Brian?
Good morning. I'm Brian DeWitt with Adams Brown. Darren asked me to come down and kind of give you an update of what we're doing upstairs. If you remember, when we negotiated our lease, there was a remodel allowance for us, and so we are taking steps in doing that right now. So created a little noise downstairs, but hadn't been too terribly bad. But the we are completely remodeling, putting new carpet down, painting a lot of the offices. We have removed a couple walls in the interior walls, nothing in the hallways. Basically, we had put them up when Clinkscales moved in 5 years ago, and so we taking them back down now to open up the offices again. And so just kind of making a few more open areas, and then we put a couple other walls up where our reception area used to be. So it's kind of replacing a wall from probably 20 years ago. So Darren just wanted me to give you an update of kind of where we're at. We're really hoping to be finished up by Thanksgiving. Hopefully from that standpoint. Glassman's been up there as well, working on their project, and so working with them has been it's kind of worked out together that we're all kind of doing the up in the rafters and on the floor, and it's been kind of a circus, but for about a month it'll work out pretty good. So did you have any questions on anything?
No, just a couple of comments, Brian.
Okay.
And the only reason we want updates on this is we just want to make sure that any remodeling that's done does not conflict with or in any way, I guess, alter the HVAC system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because then it gets more costly to the county. And also we want to make certain that your contractors get building permits for what they do, so everything's up to code.
Okay.
So as long as those objectives are met.
Yeah, we use a licensed contractor, PW, that's done most of the work up here for a lot of years, and they know where all the walls are and all that stuff. So I'm assuming they're doing the permits from that standpoint. I didn't ask for that, but we haven't. Darren's been involved with it since we started planning on it, and he's been working with me, and I've been working with him. We've had several meetings with Glassman as far as showing him what we were doing, and so just even the other day that one of the Glassman guys was there, he said there's supposed to be a wall here, and I said that's in the future. So that's why they kind of working together of he said it was said, well, that's a room that we're going to do in phase 2 from that standpoint. So we are working with them and making sure that all the HVAC works and for what we're doing from that standpoint.
Okay.
So.
Now I was up here yesterday morning for early voting. It got very noisy. It just made a really big racket.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And everyone who was in the room turned their attention to what was that noise and where was it coming from and that whole thing. Is there any way that as we look at this to the future, you can look to curtail any noise, either having contractors work evenings and nights and things like that?
Pretty tough to get contractors anyway, and so we really tried to, and it may not have been ours. It might have been Glassman, because they were very noisy yesterday. They were jackhammering through a wall. And so this last week, they've had a jackhammer through 2 walls right during our business hours. And so we're being pretty flexible with them of moving employees around. And like this morning, I don't have access to my office. I'm working in another office. And so we're trying to be very accommodating for them. But I think the noise probably was they're drilling through some pretty significant walls.
It was noisy.
Yeah, and so we're right in the middle of it. And so that's more probably on Glassman. I think the only day we really was noisy from the flooring is we had some floor that was stuck to the ground, and he had to use a machine to shove it up, and that was probably the worst day. I think we're probably 90% done with flooring at this point, so I think we're
Sure.
pretty close with that.
And
So.
I do understand there's inconvenience
Uh-huh.
with the construction. It goes with that territory too.
Yeah, but that wasn't actually, that wasn't probably us. I think that was probably Glassman, because they've been basically hammer drilling through, they went through the vault, probably that took maybe 2 days or 3 days of constant jackhammering, and then they had a pretty significant pillar they had to go through yesterday, and it was it was noisy all day, so.
It was noisy. Commissioner Neal, do you have any comments, concerns?
All I have, Brian, was I hope that you notified Darren in adequate time before you started in on the remodel.
Yeah, we've been working with him probably for a year before Clink Scales left. And so we've been planning kind of what we've been doing for the year, for probably a year out. And that's kind of what we was, I was assuming everybody knew at that point from that standpoint, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commissioner Joe?
Good morning. Hi. I guess I'm a big fan of open communication, so I think a lot of misunderstandings can be mitigated and or alleviated if, even if it's just an email update. It's great that you guys have had good contact with Darren over the past year, and I understand it's part of your lease, that remodel clause, but even just an email to whomever's on the commission at that time would be great.
Okay.
If that's something you guys could do, just shoot periodic emails to just give an update. And, as in the past, the county has tried to work with your guys' schedule, and, you guys are trying to do the same. So, hopefully that same monthly touch base email, if it's warranted, would be something where the county and you guys could work together to minimize disruption, not just for the county employees, but yours as well.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, so.
And when is your completion date?
I'm hoping by, just kind of depends on contractors, but hopefully by Thanksgiving. I'm really hoping to be virtually done. There will be some painting left at that point, but I think carpet will, outside of 2 areas, will probably be done this week. And I think most of everything else is basically, we're just patching up at this point, some ceilings, and we have to find some ceiling tile that matches what we have now. And a lot of that's been ruined by the HVAC system. And so we have to go through and replace a bunch of ceiling tile that we have to find, and built in some desks in the one area that we made up. And so we're kind of waiting on some materials there. So probably, hopefully within a month. It's been, anytime we've made improvements in the past, we've done it, seems like in the middle of tax season. So this is an improvement for us. But no, thank you, Joe. I'll shoot, I don't know, Darren, how do you want me to do it if, like when we move on to the next phase? It'll probably be a couple years, but I'll just get with Darren and then we'll figure out on that, so.
Okay.
So.
Sounds good, Brian.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. It'll look nice when you're done. It's a good old building. It just takes, so like anything, you need to just constantly keep updating it. And we figured out that it's been too long since we've replaced carpet and stuff like that. So,
Okay, thank you, Brian.
yeah, thank you.
If the commission don't mind, I would like to address the noise, just because, there is multiple contractors up there. And I did get some phone calls last night. I did speak to Greg Herbert, our buildings and grounds technician, just for him to verify with his construction and knowledge of the building. And when the noise was going on, he was concerned, so he went up there, and it was the grinding of the carpet. At that time, the majority of the noise is the grinding of the, I'm sorry, I don't know the term.
Was this a
of
month
it.
ago or so?
Last couple days.
Oh,
They're grinding the floor to get the glue from the carpet, and that's what's, I don't want to speak for the clerk or the appraiser, but she's getting multiple complaints, being yelled at by citizens because they can't even vote, and I think that's the biggest piece. When Greg went up there and is verified, that's the same noise that's occurring. Yes, Glassman is up there too, he said, and they were making noise, but.
yeah, that, I don't hear that as much when and it's really not even a grinding. He's just taking a floor scrubber and kind of scrubbing the glue off. And so that's, we try to have him do it first thing in the morning, but with being a hallway, it's hard to get people in and out of it, so he kind of has to go there. But that's fairly short time period, so I'm just surprised that's making that much noise. So I know he had that one machine that he was having to really push on to get the glue up or get the carpet up, but for the most part, most of it's been just pull up, and there's a few areas that was glued down that he has to there, but I'm surprised that's making that much noise. So.
Yeah, I fortunately left, but that's when Commissioner Schleier was here yesterday, and that's the noise that he was hearing, because Greg went upstairs to verify that, and I just wanted to, because
the jackhammering's noisier on our side, I can guarantee you that. So, and they're doing that right in the middle of the day, and we can't work. It's very from that standpoint. Sure. So it's.
I just think on behalf of our staff, it would just be nice to have a little bit more leniency with your contractors. We've made accommodations for the parking lot, and Glassman has been in on nights and weekends as well to accommodate your staff and your offices. And, it's very busy for her. She's had 14% voter turnout already, and there's, lots of people coming in. So it's for her to be getting yelled at for operations that aren't being done by our contractor. I would just ask that we have a little bit more courtesy and asking them to come in earlier in the morning or after 4 p.m. when the voting hours or business is closed for the building.
Okay.
And that's what I want, and it's ultimately the commission's decision, but I wanted to make sure that the stuff that I was getting last night was just, you don't know about it unless we speak about it. So I just want to let you know.
Yeah. So we're trying to be working with everybody, and it just, it's been a painful month for us, just for everybody of being basically, we've had to move everything in there, and so and then we're really trying to work with Glassman, but they're not working in, I don't know what they're doing the nights, but they're definitely working in the middle of the day, because we can't hardly, yesterday I had to ask them, 2 guys to get out of a ladder so I can get in my office. And so, and then we had jackhammering all day up there. And so it has been I welcome the new system, absolutely working with them. And so it's just a short-term pain that we know we're going through.
Should be like right there on the HVAC getting.
I hope so. And we're close with the carpet too. And so it worked out good that we can do it all at the same time, so that the mess that they're making wasn't ruining our new carpet either. So worked out good there. So.
Okay, Brian. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, our next item is the DSNWK grant letter of support. Wade?
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Wade Cruz. I'm the Transportation Director for DSNWK and Access. I was here a couple weeks ago in front of you. We're asking for the same letter that we've always asked for in the past. It's basically for our funding that we will come next year to request for our access public transportation for 2024. Mm-hmm. So basically, it's just the same letter that we've asked for in the past. Darren asked me to come and ask you guys.
Sure, and I don't think there'll be a problem with that, Wade.
Sure, I appreciate it.
We've signed it in the past. We want to be able to assist you best we can.
Okay.
Yeah. Commissioner Joe?
No, just like we said the last time you were here, very much want to support your efforts to continue your operations. The service you provide the community is crucial.
Appreciate it, Joe.
Okay. Commissioner Neal?
And I'm happy to see you here doing that. I'm glad. So, yeah, I'm supportive of that.
So we'll get your letter signed.
All righty. Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Wade.
Here to get an
Thank
email
you.
to me. Thanks, man.
Okay, our next item is the RPM Speedway track servicing. Chris?
Good morning, guys. My name is Chris Sutton with RPM Speedway. I've been the promoter out there since 2021. Just want to say thank you guys for letting us come in here tonight or this morning and talk to you. Just give you a quick little history. RPM Speedway's been out here at the Ellis County Fairgrounds for about 16 years now. It's been a great asset as far as bringing outside tax dollars and outside people to our community. And we want to continue that tradition. Just to give you a quick tidbit, we average about 100 race teams come in here on a weekly basis. And our bigger shows, whether it be the spring show or the fall show, we're a little over 200 race teams. So quite an impact to the county. We definitely want to continue that. So why I'm here today, when I took over the RPM Speedway, I've been connected with some other race facilities across the country or across the state. And always when I came out here, it was just a lack of participation from the crowd. That was always my biggest thing that I seen. So whenever I took it over, me and Lance Russell here, he's been a big help for me. We go into the community and we ask people, come out to the races, why not? And try to find a reason for that lack of participation. And two of the biggest complaints that we ever get was we have to walk a long ways from the parking lot up to the grandstand. That's one. But two, the dust issues. We know it's a dirt track, so there's going to be some dust, but it just seems like there's a lot of dust. And trying to control it's been crazy. I thought I could come in here and be a hero and take care of it. Well, it's a little more than that. So with that said, I've met with some of the county officials. Brendan is not here this morning. He's in training in Topeka. Kurt Kaufman is here. He has been one of the folks that we've met with out there. We met with him in the spring and then about a month ago. We've kind of come up with a game plan to help with what we have. Of course, the initial thought was we'd get new dirt, bring new dirt in to the facility. Of course, the financing isn't my big game plan. I didn't have any idea how much it would cost to bring new dirt to the facility. So we've kind of went to a backup plan of let's at least make what we have better. And with that said, we've talked to them. Their plan is to maybe come in with their equipment. And so it's going to take about 5 days, 3 pieces of equipment, so obviously 3 operators as well. Come in, reshape the corners, reshape the racetrack, get it back to square one. It's never really had any big maintenance done to it since the beginning of the track, just the weekly maintenance. Well, it needs an operation done now. And with that, then I have talked to the city here and secured compost down at the compost pile to add in to the dirt. So we would add that on top of the dirt, then mix it in. Then we would bring in, I've got one of my main sponsors, who is Nutrient Ag Solutions, is going to come in and also put some chemical down and some powder down to try to bring up some of the dirt's pH levels and stuff like that. So what I've done is I have taken soil samples and sent them off to a laboratory to just see how bad my dirt was, and that guy laughed at me. So I'm going to give you guys this real quick.
Thanks, Chris.
So a little bit about what that says. Again, I'm not real educated on this dirt and stuff, but the layman's terms way that it was explained to me is my salt levels are extremely high, which they kind of think that maybe my wells that I water from are a Dakota well. So I'm not for sure on that. The magnesium levels are extremely low. The sodium was high, very high. Calcium was high. All the things that make dirt track racing, trying to prep a racetrack very, very hard. What this does is that dirt just goes through it like a filter, and then it doesn't retain anything. Of course, then organic matter that's on here is nothing. So there's where I'm going to bring in the compost that'll give us our organic matter back. Moving some of this dirt around. There's some good dirt under what's up there, so we'll get that moved back down to the bottom. put the chemical in there, get it all tilled in, and then start spraying it to get it broke down and get the dirt back to where we need to be, a healthy dirt. As of right now, it's just, the way I was explained is if you mixed it 50-50 with Miracle Grow, nothing would grow in it. But, so, with that said, that's kind of what we had discussed, trying to get the county to come out, help us get it back to square one, and then we will go in and get all the chemicals sprayed on and keep that upkeep through there. It might not be an initial, everything's great, but we're working to at least get what we have better. Just a quick little tidbit on some of the things that we've done as a group. Of course, this isn't our facility, but this is things that we want to do to keep improving that facility. It's one of the best facilities in the state. I mean, we travel to every racetrack around. It's probably only rivaled in Kansas by Dodge City. Dodge City is a very nice racetrack as well, but we definitely don't have anything that is bad out here. With that said, we have went in and completely put a new sound system in the pit area for all the racers to hear. Very large expense, amps, speakers, wireless mic system. We've got all of that installed, new wires going to the speakers up the poles. So very, very good upgrade there. The safety lights out there, of course, they was put up 15 years ago. They're just old stop lights. We have purchased brand new Whelen, like NASCAR racetracks have, all the LED flashing lights. We've got a whole new system sitting there out at the racetrack right now we're getting ready to install for next year. We've secured a score tower to install out there for the fans to be able to see what race cars in what place, and that will be installed this off-season as well. The soil treatments, like I said, Nutrient Ag's going to come in. They'll be doing our soil treatments for us to try to get our dirt back to where it needs to be at the best that it can be, and then the compost. So with that said, we're there to try to make this facility better, knowing that it's not ours and we can't take this stuff with us when we leave, if we ever leave. You'll probably have to kick us out. We like being out there and we like doing what we do. So any questions?
Now, I have a question for you. You're trying to get your dirt in good working order, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
And once you get some of that accomplished, how often do you have to redo that to maintain it?
How often do we have to do what?
To redo your dirt to maintain it?
I think it's kind of an ongoing deal, especially with what we have. I don't want to end my search for new dirt to get it closer, because the hauling's what's so expensive. That's going to be the best thing, is just dirt replacement. This here, I think we'll have to add a surfactant to our water pretty much from here on. Until we get new dirt to keep that dust down. That surfactant will just draw the moisture and hold it in the dirt from the air. And I think we'll have to do a little bit of everything, of maintenance, pretty much yearly. And the overall maintenance of reshaping the racetrack, there might be a need there, at least once a year,
Okay. So is Kurt out here? Yeah. Can you come up here, Kurt? So you and Brendan have talked about this issue, going out there and redoing the racetrack?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, and you don't have any problems with that?
I think we can shape it up here. It's, like you said, the profile of the track has changed a lot. The bottom end has really gotten flat, and as you go up the track, it's gotten a lot steeper. And then the cars that are running the outside have kicked a lot of dirt out beyond the track. So the goal is to bring that back in and then try and correct drainage along the bottom.
Okay, so no problems with Public Works doing that?
None that I see.
Okay. Commissioner Neal, you have any questions?
Just question and comment. Since Nutrien is one of your supporters, I would like to see, probably in maybe mid-season of the race, to have them do another test. And how many tests around are you going to allow them to do?
Are you saying how many tests?
Yes. in
For
different-
the
different-
samples?
Yes, in different
Okay,
areas.
So on this one, what I did is I done 2 tests down the front straightaway.
Okay.
Test in 1 and 2, the corners first and 2, then 2 down the back straightaway and 2. I tried to get it crisscrossed up because there has been dirt brought in
Yes.
over the years and just dumped in different places. So that's why you'll see in some of the corners is difference in the straightaways on the samples and on the results.
And then the other comment I had too, I know you said it was great for our community in Ellis County, but it also benefits City of Hayes too, and you had said that. so-
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, just, we work with quite a few of the local businesses here in town. One of them being the Abbott Hotel. They are our official track hotel. They're just one of several that have reached out to me, but they was the lucky first one. And it's very common for us to sell the Abbott Hotel out with they do give us a racer rate, so our fans and the racers can go there and ask for the RPM Speedway race rate and get a lot better rate. So it's very common, at least that hotel here in town, we sell out. So, and then that food and gas and everything else here in town. I mean, so it is a huge benefit to the city as well.
And the other thing I know when I had met out there with you that right out of the pits right there, we're gonna work on that because when it does rain or any kind of water, it's right down that curve. And maybe we can get somebody to bore a line in and get that water away from there.
I'll supply lunch that day and cheer you guys on because turn 4 is a pain in my backside every time it rains. We love the rain and we need it. If it washed it out right now, I'd be happy. But yeah, it is a pain.
Well,
it washes.
There's 100 of us, so you're gonna have a big lunch bill.
We'll do that.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Joe?
Well, time to talk to a sponsor if that's going to be 100 people. Really, the only 2 things I have are, it sounds like this would enhance the safety of both the drivers and the spectators. So, huge fan of anything that'll make any activity safer because we'd hate to see something bad happen. And, the bottom line is if Public Works is able to work with you on this, I don't see why we shouldn't approve it. So I'd be in support of that.
Okay. Chris, it sounds like the board's all in favor of this, so you get with Public Works and get it scheduled and
Thank
they
you.
can get her done.
Absolutely. I appreciate your guys' time this morning. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next agenda item is a certified medical assistant, Kim.
Good morning, Kim Rill, Director of the Ellis County Health Department. This morning I'm coming to you to have an open conversation about a reallocation or a change of position at the Health Department. You may or may not know that our medical billing specialist did resign from her duties to take another job with better pay. It was through conversation with her, as well as a couple of other things that kind of made us realize at the health department that a full-time biller was no longer needed. You're also aware that EMS and the health department did split, so we are no longer helping EMS with any billing. And then with CureMD, our new EHR coming into play, I was able to talk to them and look at what the billing side would be through that system, and it's a very simple click of a button. So with that being said, Jennifer has been instrumental for me to kind of look at a couple of different options. What we would be looking at is one position, either an administrative assistant or a certified medical assistant coming into the health department. A medical assistant, in my opinion, is what I call a utility player. This person is not a nurse, but they are one step below an LPN. They are able to draw blood. They are able to give immunizations. They are also trained on the administrative side of things, as well as billing. So in my opinion, we need to take a look at that position. And what we would like to do is open up a position or I'm sorry, reallocate that position to the medical assistant or an administrative assistant by opening up both positions to see what we get as far as applications go. The reason for opening up both positions is because we're in western Kansas, and there's probably not a lot of medical assistants out here that would apply for this job, but I would like to give them the opportunity to do so. So we would have that position opened for approximately 10 days or so, I think is what we've decided. And I would be ecstatic to get 2 or 3 applicants for that job. But if we don't, we would then go ahead and start interviewing administrative assistants and then see who best would fit the position and what we're looking to do with the health department. Do you want to add anything?
I think you covered it unless they have questions.
Yeah, do you have any questions?
I have a couple questions, Kim.
Sure.
First of all, and I see here, if we have a CMA or a administrative assistant, it's going to be less expensive than if we hired a
Yes.
building clerk.
Yes.
What is the hourly salary for an administrative assistant or a CMA?
So your administrative assistant's going to be a 107 level at 1635? Something around 1635 is what I want to say.
Okay,
Your medical assistant's going to be at a 108 level, which is around 1739, I think.
okay.
So it would be below the billing specialist at 109 that we had previously had in our office.
Now, I can understand where CMA would definitely enhance services at the health department and help out, especially with clinical applications.
Sure.
And you said they'd also be then helpful with the administrative part of things. You mentioned your software.
Yes.
Click of the button, it's easy to bill. I understand that. From my experience with billing, the hard part comes back when you get your payments back and you have to start clearing the ledgers and rebilling patients and things like that. That's where a lot of the work comes in.
Right.
Would the CMA be part of that too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they'd be very versatile.
Yes, they would be.
Okay. I have no further questions. Commissioner New?
I just like the CMA because, like I say, they can do the multi-job, so, and like I say, how many applicants are you gonna get? That's
Right.
gonna be but we have to move forward.
Yeah.
Commissioner Joe?
So just to make sure I understood, I'll ask you and your stunt double here.
Okay.
So if I understood it right, we're switching out the billing position
Yes,
with either a CMA or an admin assistant.
correct.
And you had just mentioned that either the CMA or admin assistant would start at a lower rate than what the billing specialist had been. But prior to that, you also mentioned how versatile a CMA would be and what a great aid it would be to your office. Would there be a possibility, especially as hard as it would be to recruit somebody with that kind of a background, to make it a wash and start them at the same, at least bid out the CMA position at that higher rate to try to solicit more applications?
So when we looked at the different options for this, I did a market review, both local, which there's not a whole lot of certified medical assistants in the community, but I also looked at the state for the market review, and even at the 107, we are well above what the starting rate would be as far as that goes for the medical assistant, and then keeping in line with where we have our nurse and then like our LPNs, the medical assistant does fall in line down to the 107, which is still well above the market.
So I was just curious, not just the market survey results, but from a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't want to upset the apple cart and have
Yes.
people with a higher level of training get paid less than somebody coming in the door, so.
And that's definitely something we can look at. to recruit those in. There's just not a lot of certified medical assistants that exist in general. So I don't think it would be trouble bringing them in. It's just that they don't exist in
It's
high
not
numbers.
so much the wage on the
Correct.
recruiting standpoint, it's the availability
Yes.
in the applicant pool. Okay.
Correct.
Do you know why there aren't too many applicants for CMAs?
Most of it is just the schools. NCK, as of right now, or a couple months ago, I know they didn't have a program here in Hayes. I believe Colby, Goodland has a program. Barton has a very small program. A couple medical assistants go through that program every year. There's just not that many local-ish type schools. And that's pretty common. They're not super popular. A lot of those people that have those interests do go on to the medical school for the nursing. But there are still a few out there. I know Hayes Med did try to increase those numbers, so there are a few out there.
Well, I could see where if they're already that close to an LPN, which is usually a year-long program, they may as well bump up to that, so it's probably a stepping stone for them, so that probably
Correct.
decreases availability. But I just wanted to ask that, and either way, it sounds like it'd be, a wash, because you're switching out one position for whatever one comes in the door first, a CMA or an admin assistant, so it makes sense to me.
Okay. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on this?
I will. I'll make a motion to move to approve the certified medical assistant or an admin assistant to replace the previous billing position.
And I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Okay, the CDBG update. Lyle.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lyle Pantel, Ellis County Emergency Manager, Assistant Fire Chief. It's been a little bit since we talked about CDBG and our architect, WSKF. I did finally receive all the necessary information from them after you gave us the go-ahead late last year to seek architectural services. They did provide me with a box diagram, which you have in your packet. And as you can see, it's after some trimming and discussion on our part and theirs, we came down to the final diagram that you see there, which is a pretty basic building, but it meets all the needs that we'd discovered. We did a needs assessment with the architect, and this was the final product. Budgetary estimates. They did an independent contractor, which they've used for their buildings in the past, which, as you can see, comes down to $1.459 million. And then they themselves, WSKF, did a cost estimate as well, coming in at $2.3 million. If you average the difference in the two costs, we come down to about $1.9 million. So if we were to continue pursuing this, we would need to budget, the county would need to budget for anywhere from $900,000 to $1.3 million or a little higher. As far as the funding goes from CDBG, I was notified by Kansas Department of Commerce personnel that they would have a public comment time in June regarding the CDBG program. At that time, they had stated that they would be trimming some of the public facilities that would be eligible for their grant process for the 2023 grant cycle, which you apply a year in advance before it is available. So the 2023 grant would have been, the application would have been due this year for that. They did not answer many questions. It was strictly public comment regarding if it was in favor or not. But it was determined that this would be a one-year hiatus of the public facilities, and the fire station would not be applicable for this grant period. Hopefully next year, once they have completed this award period for this grant cycle, I'll have some more information regarding whether or not we would be eligible to apply for the grant again. But that's where $600,000 of the funding for this station would come into play. Part of our agreement with WSKF was to provide us with an applicable site location that would work for this project. We have yet to receive that. I'm not sure that we ever will, but I've done some digging over our GIS system and tried to come up with some options over there in the city of Ellis, which are kind of few and far between as far as a good location would be for a public safety facility. But I think it can be done.
Okay. Well, it's disappointing that it wouldn't qualify for that grant. Perhaps another time it will be. Currently, you say the county's cost in this would be from $900,000 to $1.35 million. Do we currently have any money set back for this project?
Not that I know of. And this would be a combined effort between fire, EMS, and then if they would like to participate, the city of Ellis, which they've been told of our proposed project, and they've been informed. Whether or not they'll actually be on board with it when push comes to shove, that's yet to be seen.
I think it'd be a good project to get accomplished. It might take some time, whether there's CDGB funding or not, but it's something that have to be planned in the budgeted process so we can get some money set back for it.
Absolutely, and if you look at the diagram there, it's overlaid over our current company 6th station there, and also as you can see, it's quite bigger, and we'll need a significant lot, probably similar to where the size of our company 5 is, which is approximately 1.5 acres or so. It would allow for pull-through bays. It would house all necessary apparatus for the city of Ellis, as well as the ambulance and county fire trucks.
Absolutely. Commissioner Joe, concerns, comments?
No concern. You know, like you said, it's a shame that we didn't secure the funding that we had hoped in the timeline that we had hoped, but it's still a great project, and I hope to see it move forward because I think it's needed.
Yeah, and I'll definitely keep applying for it until we are either told we can't or I get it.
Commissioner Neal?
Just, I guess, a question or a rough number. In Ellis, how many volunteers are over there?
Approximately 21 currently.
That's my point. I mean, hopefully we can get this done because some of them I know are asking for a nicer facility. And as everybody knows, I always brag on our volunteers. I mean, they go away from their families to go help the community. So I'm definitely in support of this if we can, make it happen, if it takes another year, but maybe we can recruit some more then. That way we get a nice facility and training center, and you've got it laid out nice, Lyle. I appreciate that. So it's...
Okay, Lyle. Thank you for the update, and let's see what happens in the future.
Thank you, Commissioners, and I will update you as necessary.
Okay, the next agenda item is Operation Greenlight. Darren.
Morning, Darren Myers, County Administrator. The next item on your agenda is to consider resolution number 22-16, which is it's a resolution in support of a national effort to recognize our nation's veterans. This idea was originally conceived through NACO, which is the National Association of Counties, and they're promoting it very heavily, and it got down to some of our county staff, specific to our county appraiser, and she had approached myself and see if we could do something, and we talked to Greg, our buildings and grounds technician, as to if this would be possible to switch the lights out at some of our county facilities from the normal lights to green lights for that week in November around Veterans Day. And initially, the thought was, I need to look into it to see how much work it will be and how much costs and, just the cost of the light bulbs in a little bit of time at two of the facilities that Greg has identified, which would be the courthouse and the emergency services building, would have little cost. But I think the bigger point in doing it is, the derivative of where this comes from is just actually identifying our nation's veterans, the challenges that they go through, and recognizing their service and showing some appreciation for the sacrifices that they've done for us. So we use the template that NACO, National Association of Counties, put together in support of Operation Greenlight to recognize the veterans, and it is attached for the commission to approve if you so choose to want us to move forward.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely in favor of showing all the support we can for our nation's veterans. It's very worthy to do so. Commissioner Joe?
Well, I retired from the Army, so I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah, okay. Commissioner Neal?
I'm definitely in support of it. Probably everybody in here has had somebody that was in World War I, II,
Sure.
whatever, Vietnam. I appreciate that all, and there is a cost associated with everything, but this will be a yearly thing, so we can just reuse, and I'm definitely in support of this.
Okay. Commissioners, I move to approve Resolution 22-16, showing support and appreciation of our nation's veterans.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Okay, the agenda item is the Southwest Ellis County Fire update. Darren?
I was asked to give an update in regards to the fire that happened last weekend, Sunday, October the 23rd, in Southwest Ellis County. Since then, the investigation has been conducted and more information as to the size of the fire, location, damages, etc. has been identified. The fire actually started along Highway 4, K4, down in Ness County. If you actually drove down there, just on the south side of the highway around GG Road, there's an oil tank battery where some type of electric spark malfunction, something happened or another, and perfect V pattern away from away from that tank battery, and moved all the way up into Southwest Ellis County. And for those that know the area, basically in the entire Southwest Ellis County, it grew all the way north to Antonino Road and east all the way to 150th Avenue. Fire was just about over 10 miles long, and the estimated acreage from the Kansas Forestry Service for all three counties of Ness, Trigo, and Ellis County was around, or just over 14,000 acres. Lyle Pantel did the best that he could do using our GIS data and tried to overlay that the burn pattern that Kansas Forestry Service put together, and the acreage just in Ellis County was about 10,200 acres. So fairly significant. This is the second largest fire in the last 7 years that I've been with the county. Obviously the first and hopefully will be the last was December 15th of last year. Fire crews spent out about 12 hours that day. When that call came out, they were already spread around the county between the city of Hayes, over by Munger, and then over by Victoria on 3 other fires. And we had the initial reports of the fire down in Ness County, and the concern there was that we didn't want to self-deploy to a fire that may not happen and then have a fire somewhere else in the county and be completely out of position. However, it did take some time to get the units identified that there was a fire down there, and then essentially the entire county fire department was out there. We had assistance from Ellis County EMS. We did take one firefighter to the hospital from smoke inhalation, was treated and released, no further injuries. Public Works was out there helping identify locations for water supply. They brought out several of their semi for water, as well as some of their tandem axle trucks for water as well. And in regards to the road project down the south 5 miles of Ellis Avenue, they did have a piece of equipment out there, a pad foot roller. It wasn't direct. Actually, they had several pieces of equipment, but that one actually took the blunt force of the fire, and unfortunately it burnt up. and is a complete loss, and that has been filed for with insurance for reimbursement. We did lose, the county fire department did lose one portable tank. It's amazing how much community help that we get on those fires. We had several different companies. Nutrient Ag was out there, Lone Wolf Services, several other oil field companies, but we did have a load of water that get dumped in one of our portable tanks that still had oil in it and ruined one of our tanks, but we were still able to use the water out of it. It just made a mess. Minor damages to some of the trucks, just plugged filters, et cetera, like that, and some blown fuses. But like I say, in regards to the firefighters themselves, we currently are sitting at 96, and I know you asked a little bit ago, there's 21 over in Ellis. Currently sitting at 96, and we have 3 more applicants on my desk. They all get on, we'll break the record, and we'll be right there at that 100 mark that I've been shooting for years. But they do great. It is very, I can't explain what it's like to be out there when you have zero visibility, not just from the dust, but from the soot, the smoke, and an orange glow coming at you, and all you can feel is the heat, but you can't see the fire, and you're trying to put it out. They do a great job. On the backside of that too, to make it successful, is the amount of farmers that we had out there. A lot of fire line that we had, and I believe the number was by the time I went from one part of the county to get to the fire on completely the other side, because it is in an open range portion of the county where there's no county roads. It took 16.3 miles, I believe, for me to get around it from one side to the other. But that amount of fire line that we have, that perimeter, the farmers that were out there with their plows and their discs and their tractors, is another great benefit that we have, that they're out there willing to help. And we had some farmers that did have some damages to some of their discs because of that loss of visibility, and they're doing everything they can to protect structures. Luckily, no homes were damaged or lost. We did have a building along Ellis Avenue out there, that metal pole shed barn, I guess, that did burn up in the fire. But like I say, a lot of help from different agencies. Sheriff's Department was out there helping identify structures in the way. They were getting us those locations over the radio, so that way we can get firefighters and fire trucks over there to protect the property. EMS was out there to help take care of our personnel. LSPD was out there helping direct traffic and stop traffic so we could drive. Hays Fire was out there with one of their trucks. So a great community effort, and it's just why I love the job so much, and just wanted to make sure that we recognize them, but also kind of fill out some more information of what we found, since the original press release was released the day after. So our county fire department is going to have an annual meeting here in mid-November, and we usually have about 60 or 70 of the 90-some firefighters show up for the meeting. But this year we're going to focus on this fire and do an after-action review. What did we do good? What could we do better? What are things that we can't change, like the terrain, the wind, et cetera. And we always look for continued improvement, and we'll use that meeting as a point to see what we can do better.
Okay.
With that, I'll sit for any questions.
I think, we can feel very fortunate. We had over 10,000 acres burned and no lives lost, no one hurt, no homes destroyed. So that's good. The fire occurred in a good location from that aspect. And then, a special thanks to all the volunteers, all the community agencies which helped, the farmers. Without that kind of an effort, it just wouldn't be possible to handle a fire like that very efficiently. So special thanks to all those people. Commissioner Neal?
Well, first I gotta apologize to Darren, because I did have some people calling me wondering where and who I need to get a hold of, and I know he was busy, so I made it real short and sweet with him on the phone. But so I just finally started telling him to call dispatch. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. The other thing saying, and I'm going to echo Commissioner Butch on that, is there anything that we could do to, say, like help the farmers if they've had some damage on their equipment? is there some kind of funding that we could do on that? Just to help them out somewhat, because we will, and I hate to say it, we will probably need them again at some point in time. Just something to show a little appreciation to.
Yeah, we could look into it. I don't have any ideas off the top of my head. It's probably nothing that we could, turn in for insurance for damages or anything like that. I wouldn't say it's a common occurrence. The most common occurrence that we have is our, another interesting piece to all this is the company chiefs out there. They drive their personal vehicles, and sometimes they spend hundreds of miles of personal drive time on their personal vehicles, getting them dirty, tore up, and then they have to go back and replace filters, replace gas, and they're essentially doing it for nothing, and it's costing them money. So,
Yes.
but occasionally the most common occurrence is we do have damages to their vehicles, and we don't cover that as well. So that might be something that we have to look into. I can visit with Mr. Jeter about it. It's a good idea. I don't know where we would draw the line as to what it could lead to if, where do we stop on what damages are occurred, and
Right.
and how
that,
do we set something aside to help?
I guess that would be a thing that somebody, say, our local implement dealers could look into and say, hey, it wasn't that great in the beginning, but they did risk their tractor, their disc, whatever. I'm just asking a question, something we can discuss.
Definitely look into it.
Commissioner Joe?
No, just to echo what both of you said and what Darren said, it was really great to see so many different, not just agencies, but members of the public and business representatives jump in and help. That was, again, a lot of acres that a fire was on with minimal damage and no homes lost. So, it couldn't have been done without everybody pitching in and working together. So that's just great to see, and it's very much appreciated.
Okay, Darren, thank you for the update.
Yes.
Okay, the next agenda item is the 2023 budget report. Darren?
The next item is just a discussion that I'd like to get some clarification from the commission on. It would be nice to get some clarification also for Bobby and I from the state. However, we're having a little bit of trouble having them return any phone calls or emails. The goal, the intention, the goal of the commission throughout the budget process for 2023 was to try to keep the mill levy at or just below the current year, which is 37.395 mills. When we put the budget together and throughout the year, we're using estimated valuations until they're certified by the clerk, and she puts her final numbers together, which is done after the commission approves the budget for the following year. Since that time, when we did our budget hearing in September the 12th, we had a proposed estimated mill levy rate of 37.283. Now that Bobby is certifying everything and trying to put the final numbers together, so that way the tax rolls can be ready for the next year. The mill levy went from 37.283 proposed to 37.575, which is essentially a $132,000 difference between those two different mill levies. What I've asked the state to do is to try to match what our budget, our proposed budget limit was for the mill levy, is to reduce that 37,575 actual number from the clerk's office and reduce the ad valorem tax collected in 2023 by 132,000, which would adjust our non-appropriated balance, which is a balance that we use to continually try to increase our cash carryover to have better financial stability for the county into the future. However, I'm not sure if they're out of the office, on vacation, et cetera, but just haven't got an answer. So I guess what I'm looking for at the commission is if the state would allow that process to put our mill levy back down to what our budget notice was and reduce our non-appropriated balance down by 132,000, which would not impact any departmental budget whatsoever, that we try to withhold to that 37.284 mill levy and adjust it down with the approval from the Kansas Department of Administration.
Yeah, I would have no problems with doing that, Darren. Taxes are going to be high enough when people open their envelopes in November, so I'd be in favor of that. Commissioner Neal?
I would definitely support that also.
Yeah, definitely support it. It helps members of the community. It's not hurting any budgets. It's just reducing some of the cash carryover. So I think it's something the county could easily absorb compared to folks that are already having higher property taxes and, you know, some things that passed recently, which were great to see pass, and we need them, but it's still going to cost folks money. So if we can help with that by keeping the mill levy stable, that would be great.
As soon as and it'll probably happen, when we get done with the commission meeting, I'll pull up my email and I'll have an email from them. But while we had the time here and we had all three commissioners, I thought it would just be best to make sure that was an action that you'd like us to take before, if we get the final, or the approval from the state before Bobby's finished with her processes.
Sure,
To pass
absolutely.
along to the treasurer. I think still waiting on 2 counties, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
County Administrator report. Darren?
One thing I was going to add, when Brian DeWitt was here with Adams Brown, but I had forgot, the HVAC upgrades for this building are very close to being done, and they are looking at a couple different changes to what we have had in the past. And we end up having to move several of the air handling unit, but the fan control boxes, and doing that has increased the amount of the project. I haven't got the change order yet, but I just want to make the commission aware. About $9,000 to have to cut pipe and put new valving in to allow those units to be moved. And then also last night when I was speaking with our buildings and grounds technician, Greg, a change that he would like to see, and he has, if we did this, if the commission is in favor of it, is there's a way now that the system is down and it's not operational, is to cut in valves, replace some valves that are rusted, and then isolate each floor. So that way, currently right now, if something breaks in our system, we have to shut the whole entire building down, and that means there's no heat or air throughout the entire building. These new valves, $7,800 is the estimate, is to put a valve on each floor, so that way if something goes bad above us on this floor, we can still keep the first and second floor operational and continue with air, heat and air. And he has that room within his budget to do that if the commission is okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be in favor of that. I think it makes a lot of sense to do that. Yeah.
And still, like I say, the only last item that we have to work on for the project is, now the generator project is moving forward. If you saw that when you walked in, they got the concrete cut and everything. So once they get that generator pad, we'll be able to determine what the size of the fence is and everything. We've been working with Glassman to try to get something that looks nice out there. However, looking nice was what Fort Hays has done around a lot of their air handling units outside, or their chillers. And the estimate for this was $70,000, and that sounded way too nice. So we're going back to the drawing board and trying not to go chain link, because that's going to look very poor, not very aesthetically pleasing. But most likely we're going to have to go back with a wood fence around it to stay within something that is budget friendly for us. So,
Commissioner Joe, comments?
No comment. Just makes sense to do it. I mean, why would you want to shut the whole building down when you wouldn't have to if you could keep non-affected areas running?
Commissioner Neal?
Well, the industry that I'm in, isolation valves are worthless. I mean, it's priceless, because if there is something hit or something that is leaking, that valve is worth $1 million. So I am definitely for that. So the more we can isolate off, the better. Keeps everything going. our people happy.
Okay,
Yep, we will proceed, and that's all I have.
okay. County Commission reports. Neil?
Yes, I was at the KAC. That was interesting and informative, and then I did, me and my wife both attended the 4-H thing, so the kids that were up here, we did see them last Saturday, and since I was out at the Shank building, the Unrein building was also occupied, and that was with the 489. They had some fundraiser stuff going on, and so we poked our head in there for about an hour and a half, and I was very happy to see that they were doing some additional fundraising for the project at 489. And I'm going to repeat again, thank everybody for on the fire. Great help. That means a lot to our whole community. That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Joe? Okay. And I have no report. I will make a motion that we go into executive session for 15 minutes for attorney-client privilege regarding potential litigation. Those to attend would be the Board of Commissioners, Bill Jeter, Darren Miters, and Brenda McKay by telephone.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Where do we go to, Darren?
I texted her, make sure she was okay with it.